Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is an exciting Saturday. This is Success Mentorship class number 372, and our topic for today is a powerful one. Our topic for today is how to become a time master. Thank you so much for being with us on Instagram, on YouTube, as we share this message. As we listen to the message, share it with someone else, invite somebody else to take a listen, because I guarantee you that today, this is going to be a message that will transform your life. I also invite you to visit our website, www.herbertharris.com, and get a copy of our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, and schedule a success consultation. All right, now that we have taken care of all the odds and ends that have to be taken care of, let us get started with a meditation to recenter and put our minds, our spirits, our souls on one accord. Let's close our outer eyes, sit straight up in our seats. Today, let's put our hands palm down on our knees. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. And just let that peace sink in as we disconnect from all the outside vibrations and focus on the here and the now. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in the space of relaxation and peace, our minds are open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let that sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And so it is. Thank you so much for being here this morning, because this is one of those topics that I think all of us face from time to time. Peter Drucker said something very, very powerful. He said, until we can manage time, we can manage nothing. Until we can manage time, we can manage nothing. That's a powerful thought. In other words, if we're not managing our time, then anything else is almost superfluous. If we're still a slave to time, if we always end up our days with more activities at the end of the time. And I chose this topic because many of us have more stuff at the end of the day left to accomplish when the day runs out. We have more activities left at the end of the time. And so when we look at that, as we look at this success journey over this incredible year, and we make our list of things to do and, set out to do them, and at the end of the day, we see that we maybe had 10 things to do and we only get 5 of them accomplished. It's got to frustrate us. But I want to put that, and I'll call it lack of high performance. I'm not blaming ourselves, but just lack of high performance. And I want to give you an image. Can you imagine a farmer who has to plant 10 rows of corn a day? And the reason is because if he plants 10 rows of corn a day, then in 60 to 90 days, he will have a harvest. And that harvest will give him enough corn to take care of himself, his family, and to sell to maintain income for the family. Now, when you run out of time, it's like the farmer, instead of doing 10 a day, he only does 5. And so at that time, you don't notice that he's working. There's activity going on, but it's not the activity necessary in the now to create the end result in the then. And so that is a, let me mute everybody because I hear someone. Let me just mute everybody. And let's see if I can do that. Let me just try to do that because I keep hearing noise in the background. Let's just mute all. Okay. Okay, great. And so if you think about it, the end result that that farmer wants, which is to feed himself and his family, will not be accomplished 90 days from now because of what he did not do today, what he did not do each day. And this is really the heart of time management, that when we see things in the big picture, when we don't manage our time in the present, then the end result that we expect will probably not happen. And that's a profound thing, folks, because what we're saying there now is that, man, if things can happen this way, if we can have a low level of performance now, then why should we expect the results that we want at the end? Christine was saying one day, and she was teaching sales, and she was saying that her manager told her, she was a little down because she wasn't getting any sales. She was in real estate, no insurance. And her manager said, "Are you setting 3 appointments a day?" And she said, "No." He said, "Well, then you'll never make the money that you want to make. You have to set 3 appointments a day." And so the idea of time management is what must you do with the time allotted today to make tomorrow the way you want it to be. And it's not just the tomorrow, but it's the big picture tomorrow, because everything that we do has a cycle. One of the great opportunities we have in operating in the present is that time is like a great garden. It's like fertile earth. And whatever we do, we're planting a seed in that fertile earth. That seed will grow, but it grows in accordance with its nature. So the corn grows in accordance with the nature of corn. It takes 60 days to 90 days to mature. It does not matter how hungry you are, how broke you are, it requires that amount of time to mature. So as we engage upon the activities that we do on a daily basis, we have to look way down the line to really see the total importance of what we're doing on that daily basis to make tomorrow the way we want it to be. And so then that question comes up, okay, then I got it. What must I do to become a time master? What is the secret? What is the key? Well, there are a number of pieces to look at. A nice vision that I love, and we talk about it. The moment you are born, you are a boat on the river of time. Being born means that you are put into the river of time, and in that river of time, you move and live and have your being. In your boat, there are 4 things that you have to help you navigate from where you are to wherever you want to be. You have a rudder, which is your value system, your core values, that definition of who you are. You have an engine, which is your level of desire. How badly do you want it? You have sails, and sails represent your attitude that things happen around the world, things happen that you have no control over, but how you respond to these things makes all the difference. And you have a crew. These are people you permit to come into your life, to board the ship that is your life, who can either work with you or work against you. So when we have that concept now of life existing on the river of time, it really gives us a greater understanding of how to become a time master. So let's look at basically 7 steps, 7 keys. Number 1, you have to understand the value of time. Time is not just a matter of clock watching. It's much bigger than that. Understanding the value of time is really saying that time is your most valuable asset. It is irrepeatable and irreplaceable. Time is that one resource that is infinitely precious. In other words, when you run out of time, you run out of life. But it's also a bit unpredictable. Each of us stands at the moment. Every moment is like a crossroads of possibility. Every single day, each of us is armed with 24 hours to make a difference. Wow. So becoming a master of time is really, it's not a big secret. It's really about a journey that you can embark upon that makes all the difference. So this idea with your boat is on the river of time, the moment you understand that, then the river has currents. The river moves at a certain rate. You get the biggest bang for your activities when you are congruent with the river of time. When you become a time master now, to master the currents, to master the cycles, to master the activities, to get the desired results down the road. Benjamin Franklin said something very powerful. He said, lost time is never found again. So time is your most precious, non-renewable resource. You can make more money. You can gain more knowledge. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. So as a time master, you must respect time and understand that it's more than the ticking of a clock. It's really a vibration. It's really a rhythm in which you live your life. You must understand that relationship with time and recognize that every moment has a possibility, has a seed. Every moment is like a blank canvas that you can paint with your choices and your actions. Every moment is a blank canvas that you can paint based on your priorities, based on your passion. You see, when you really desire something, you really want to do something, be something, and get a particular result, time now is your great asset. Because now how you use time, how you align yourself with the currents of existence now determines the results that you get. So that key one, to understand the value of time. So time now becomes an asset, a companion that you can use to get desired results. Number 2, you have to clarify your purpose. You know, we often get so much into time, and I think that's why I wanted to do this topic today. We often get so much into the mechanics of time management. that we don't see the philosophy of time management, the spiritual power of time management. Abraham Lincoln once said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said that if you have to cut a tree down in an hour, spend 45 minutes sharpening the axe. So if you want to become a time master, spend some time, a significant amount of time, clarifying your purpose, because your purpose, your why, becomes the seat of your passion. Remember we said on the boat that is your life, you have that engine, that level of desire. And that level of desire is tied in with your purpose. And you see, the purpose now puts you in context of the whole world. In other words, you were created for a reason. When you have the context that you were created for a good purpose to do good things on this planet, that changes everything. So you're not just an accident, just a happenstance. You're here with a reason to be here. So your purpose is that for which you were uniquely created. How do you determine your purpose? Spend some time on it. You know, in the 12 Universal Laws of Success, on page 77, there's a whole piece on how to discover your purpose. What contribution do you have to make to the world? When you ask yourself that question, what contribution do you have to make to the world? What truly matters to you? Why are you here? What would the world be like if you were not here? Are your daily actions aligned with your life goals? One of my good friends, Kenya Crooks, who's a personal trainer, and he trains a lot of the stars, and he says that, very often people will come to him and say, I want to lose weight, I want a body shape, and all these things, but then they won't put in the time necessary to do it. And they won't do it because they don't have a vision of what they want to look like that's strong enough to motivate you to get by, to do what you have to do. And so clarifying your purpose now is like giving your GPS of life a destination. If you have no destination, the GPS is absolutely useless. But if you have a purpose, if you're clear on your purpose, then purpose creates vision. Vision creates goals. So once you have an understanding, my purpose, now I'll tell you my purpose in life. I used to think my purpose was to get rich. My purpose was to have fun and live the good life in high places. But one day, over time, as I talked and lectured and taught and spoke and wrote, my purpose is to uplift the lives of everybody on the planet. And so now seeing a purpose that big now, then what is the vision? The vision is one of being an author, being a speaker, being a teacher, being a spiritual guide. What are the goals to become that? And so the goals are those steps that you must make to become the author, to become the speaker, to become the teacher. And so you will never manage time properly until you can put your purpose into context so that your purpose now can be congruent with your passion. The third key. Once you have seen the vision, once you've identified your purpose, once you've set the goals, and there are tons of goal setting books in the 12 Universal Law of Success and the Law on Vision, the chapter on vision. There's a lot of information about goal setting, the details. They must be smart. But in this bigger context, it's about being still and knowing who you are, seeing the vision that leads you to your purpose, and breaking down that vision into action goals that you can accomplish. So the third key to becoming that that master of time, you must plan with precision. You know the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And so you can have the most beautiful goals written. You can have your purpose laid out and be clear on it. You can have all of these things, but if you have no plan, then it will not happen. Time masters don't wing it. they plan it. Now, many of us get in situations, as happened this morning with the computer and with the internet. So things are unpredictable, but the idea of being a time master is to always know what to do, to always be aware of how to get it done, to never quit. And so when you plan with precision, then you know that every hour spent planning can help with the execution. You have all the tools to help you plan your daily planners, your calendars, your digital apps on the phone. I'm still a handwritten person. There's still an eye-hand coordination that I find very effective. But once you plan with precision and begin to break your goals down into action steps, and then schedule when these steps must be done, and then hold yourself accountable. You know, you can lay out a daily action plan, but if you don't hold yourself accountable, it can slip away from you. And that's one of the reasons when you get to the end of the day and you have so many things left over, you're like, wow, where did I go wrong? You went wrong because you did not ask yourself that profound time question, which you ask yourself from moment to moment. What is the best use of my time right now when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose? You develop some nice techniques like block techniques. I find that very, very powerful because when you have block techniques, you can block out certain blocks of time. So many of us on here, if you're up at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, I guarantee you that you have many activities that you're involved in. You're multifaceted, multi-talented. And so when you lay out block time, I see my friend Herman is here, and when we were talking about writing his book, and he laid out block time to get up every morning at 5 o'clock before he went to work. When I was writing the 12 Universal Laws of Success, the block time was what made it work. Block time and accountability. So, example, when we were writing the 12 Universal Laws of Success, we said from 9 to 1, I'm going to sit at this desk and write. Now, there were days I didn't feel creative at all, but the accountability said, you must sit at that desk to write. So this is a power question. What's the best use of my time right now when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose? So if I'm going to write this book, then I got to sit there. And what you find is that once you block that time out and I sit there for those 4 hours, after a couple of days, it's almost like the universe opened up to give up the goodies, to write the book as it had to be written. So when you start that idea of planning with passion, the watchword is, if it's not scheduled, it probably not be done. The fourth key, prioritize diligently. Prioritize diligently. You see, not all tasks are created equal. Time management, time mastery requires you to be able to say no. We all have heard so much about the 80-20 rule, that 80% of the results come from 20% of your actions. And so to be a time master, focus on the 20% of your actions that get the bulk of the results. Focus on high impact activities. You know, Joyce talks a lot about IPAs, income producing activities. One of the reasons that people dislike sales is because it's an income producing activity, but it has a direct relationship between activity and results. If you set no appointments, you make no money. Okay? When you don't have that relationship, sales points it out so quickly. In life, it's not necessarily as obvious, the things that you have to do each day to get the results you desire 6 months from now. But the idea of sales means that you hold yourself accountable to specific activities each day. So prioritizing is the key. To ask yourself each day what must be done, and break that into two categories. What must be done by you? Because many times we spend dollar time on penny jobs. We're like the CEO, so we should not be sweeping up the floor. Now, there are times we will do it, but don't spend dollar time on penny jobs. So, what tasks must be done by you and what can be delegated to someone else? Until you learn the power of delegation, you'll always be a one horse shop. What can be eliminated? When you look at the list of things to do and you prioritize diligently, there's certain things that just drop off the list. One of my teachers always said the big six. What's the big six? The big six are the six most important things that you must do today to create the life you want tomorrow, to create the life you want next month, next year. And see, that is why the planning is so important, because planning encompasses the time from initiation to completion. And it's all done in the time context. So when you can schedule and intersect with the time, the river of time at the proper points, you get the bang for your buck. Always do the most important things first, because stuff happens. Not only do the most important things first, but do the most distasteful things first. Many times we put off things that we don't like to doing, and what happens is they never get done. And so that thing that you really didn't want to do, at the end of the day, you find that you didn't get it done. Wow. Number 5, eliminate the time wasters. We know what they are. Constant notifications on your phone. I think I've gotten everybody sort of trained that I have my phone set up, it doesn't make any noises. You know, like when you get texts and posts and stuff. I don't want to hear it do anything. Constant notifications suck up your time, waste your time. Multitasking. You know, I've had a number of people challenge me on that. They say, when you multitask, we can do things effectively, 4 or 5 things at one time. You know, if you look at the Kentucky Derby, you can't win the Kentucky Derby on 2 horses. You can only focus on one thing at a time. You can do time sequencing better. When I find people trying to multitask, it's like they're never giving their full attention to any one thing, and therefore they don't give it that power to manifest it. But when you do sequential tasking, where if one task, like if, for example, if you're editing a video, once you've done the edit, it takes maybe an hour to render. It's a real-time rendering. So now you can get that done. Now you can do other things while that is happening. I call that sequential timing. Some of the time wasters, distractions, interruptions. You know, you have to have a sign on the door to your mind to knock first. You have to have office hours for yourself. You have to have office hours for yourself. Say, this is when I'm doing my business. This is when I'm doing the things that are important. And during these hours, do not call me, do not knock, do not text me. Other people's problems. Great time waster. Not to be insensitive, but over time you'll find that very often the same people have the same problems over and over because they're very accustomed to having you solve it. Reverend Ike once said, he said, you know, I'm going to stop having certain meetings with certain parishioners. I'm like, well, why would you do that? And he said, well, you know, Sister Mary comes in every month and she says, pray for me to get my rent. Pray for me. She said, Sister Mary should master that. And so this idea of other people's problems, not to be insensitive, but to help them grow. Many times the best thing you can do is let them solve their own problem so they can learn how to fly. Negative conversations. So all of these are time wasters. So the idea of being a time master, that you're bold enough to protect your time like it's a precious treasure. To set boundaries and guard your focus. You see, focus is where focus goes, power flows. Anything that divides your focus undermines your ability to get things done. The fifth key is to master the power of now. Everything we talk about is in the context of now. Procrastination is the enemy of time mastery. Waiting for the perfect moment will keep you stuck in perpetual preparation. I say make the moment perfect. Many times when you're confronted with not being sure of what you have to do, a task that you've never done before, you say, well, I don't know how to do that. I can't undertake this. Well, ask that question. Well, if you did know how to do it, what would you do? It's amazing, the moment you flip that script. Well, if I did know how to do it, what would I do? I would do A, B, C, and D. Make the present always perfect. Napoleon Hill said, do not wait. The time will never be just right. Train yourself to act as though even when you don't feel like doing it, you get it done. Develop routines and habits that facilitate your doing it now and getting it done. Success many times is like moving from failure to failure. Winston Churchill said, success is the ability to move from failure to failure and not lose your enthusiasm. And then finally, step 7 is reflect and refine. That idea of becoming a time master is not an overnight experience. It's something that takes a bit of time to do, but it's a daily practice that helps you do it. If there's one daily practice that can change your life, it's something very powerful. Dr. Breakthrough has the attitude adjuster. That what you tell yourself in the morning each day is probably the most powerful thing that you can do to get where you want to go. On that boat that is your life, what you tell yourself in the morning, that attitude adjuster is like adjusting your sails so that whatever the winds of the world are, they always blow you toward your goals. You notice how people can have their sails set so that the same wind that blows one ship over blows another one ahead. So, adjust your attitude every morning. Another key. Make your list of things to do the night before, and don't just make a list, make a schedule the night before. I'll tell you folks, if you don't do that list the night before, you'll lose 2 or 3 hours a day. When you do that list and schedule the activities that must be done before, you have literally functioned as a time master, because now you've put the context of your actions into the time matrix so you know exactly when to do what. And that's really what time mastery is all about. Ask yourself each day, what things did I accomplish? What distracted me? What will I not do again? What must I add to my daily repertoire? What must I drop from my daily repertoire? And most of all, how can I get better tomorrow? And so that's really the key to becoming a time master, to be aware of and understand the value of time. The time is God's gift to you. What you do with that time is your gift to God. To clarify your purpose so that you have an idea of why you're here. Your why is that passion that makes you do things, so that your purpose now is supported by your vision, and your vision is supported by your goals. That once you're clear on that, once you be still and know who you are, and what you're about, then you can plan with precision. Then you can lay out an action plan, a schedule of activities that now all you have to do is have the discipline to follow your own plan. Discipline is key. That as you plan with passion and prioritize diligently, that incorporate it into your planning the priorities in that 80-20 rule to focus on results producing activities, income producing activities. Focus on those 20% that get 80% of the results. Eliminate the time thieves, those distractions, those shiny objects, those situations that take your focus off the prize. Master the power of now, knowing that the present is God's gift to you. What you do with that present is your gift to God. Your guiding light is always what is the best use of my time right now when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose. And then finally, reflect and refine. Get better every day, each and every day. Look at your progress, monitor your progress. What did you accomplish? What distracted you? What things will you not do again? What things must you add to your repertoire? And then make that commitment to get better and better every day. Your affirmation, daily affirmation should be every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. When you can do those things, when you can follow these 7 steps and practice them diligently and evolve and get better and better each and every day, you'll become a time master. So that the river of time is congruent with your vision, your goals, and your purpose. So that now you enjoy the winds of change because your attitude can help you negotiate. You have a rudder that guides you with your values so you don't hit any rocks. You have an engine, a deep desire that's so strong that nothing is impossible. And you surround yourself with people who lift you up, who love you, and who see you moving on to your higher good. Always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Thank you so much for being here today. Those of you on YouTube, on Instagram, thanks for joining us. Those on Zoom in our mastermind group, hang on. I'd love to have our discussion. Thank you, each and every one of you. And remember this, that visit our website, herbertharris.com, www.herbertharris.com. Get a copy of our book and be sure to schedule a success consultation. Book a complimentary success consultation so that I can help you be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire. And so it is.